There we go. Everybody hear me? All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Welcome to the Thursday night edition of September 22nd, governing body of Spring Hill, City of Spring Hill, Kansas. If you guys would like to stand with me, we'll do the invocation, and Pastor Jay Sloan is going to do it for us tonight. Yeah, if you want to step up here so we can all hear you, that'd be great. Thank you, sir.
Evening, everybody. Our Father, thank you so much for allowing each and every one of us to be here. We thank you for your protection and your provision in each one of our individual lives. I pray for this great city of Spring Hill and all its citizens, that God, what is done here tonight will be to their benefit and, Lord, to your glory. I pray, God, that you will be with each and every one of those that we care about, and that we will be a blessing and encouragement to everyone that is here and beyond these walls. I pray that the words are spoken with wisdom. I pray that we will do what we need to do to represent those that we care about and those that we know and those that we don't. Lord, you tell us to love our neighbor as ourselves, and I pray that we will do that this evening. I pray all the decisions that need to be made, even if they're minute or if they're grand, that they will be done with intent and wisdom and grace. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, if you could please take the roll.
Mrs. Roth?
Here.
Mr. Peel?
Here.
Mr. Young?
Here.
Mrs. North? Mr. Van Houden?
Here.
Mayor, we do have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to approval of the agenda, and we did have a request to add a formal action item number 16, which would probably move number 16, because we do have a 16 under discussion, so I guess that would move that to 17. Consider the approval of the city's employee assistant program EAP provider in substantial form and authorize the mayor to sign the final contract. Are there any other requested changes or additions? If not, I entertain a motion to approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0-0. Next, we'll move on to the citizen participation period. At that point, I would request that you step up to the microphone and state your name and your address. And the first person on the list is Mrs. Tatiana Magwagwa. If I didn't pronounce it right, I apologize. Oh, Miss. Miss.
My name is Miss Tatenda Mugwagwa of Spring Hill. My address is 21297 219th Street, Spring Hill, Kansas 66083. And today I would like to present something, and today I learned about a word called insincerities. Insincerities means the quality of not expressing genuine feelings. And that's the feeling I have right now as a citizen. In that, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I feel I can't express my genuine feelings as a citizen. And that's one thing I should be able to have as a citizen of Spring Hill. And also, when I come here to the city council, city hall, municipal governing body, when I come, it's because I don't have anywhere else to go. And because in the hierarchy of our country, Mayor, you are technically my father. When I come to you as a child to going to their father, asking for help, asking for guidance. I am new to Spring Hill. This is my second year here. Everybody else knows each other. They greet each other by hand. And again, that's social, excuse me. But I want to learn and I want to be part of the future of Spring Hill. And that's not a secret. If anybody has been, you know that's my desire. And lately, I've been having a difficult time understanding where and how to go to. So in the hierarchy of the city, I wish for you to clarify a little bit more on how and where and whom to go to on certain things. So that as citizens, we are free to speak, contribute, ask, help, and actually be part of the city in the future. Because how can we be part of something that's not clear? Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, if you would like to leave your contact information, we can try to have someone reach out to you if you would like to. If you don't want to, that's totally fine with you, but if you would.
Don't do it.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
If you're gonna give his phone number, give it to.
Yeah,
Okay.
not to me, yeah.
Yes,
Want afterwards.
thank you so much.
Not on the microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, I will not.
Yes.
That's all I want to hear from my father and our father. Thank you.
So, there you go. All right. That's all we have on the list. Is there anyone else that would like to step up and say anything? If not, we'll go ahead and close the citizen participation period at this time, and we'll move on to the consent agenda. I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved?
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not all those,
I didn't hear a second.
sorry.
I'll second.
And now a second.
I'm sorry,
any-
who seconded?
I did.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Van Houten.
Is there any other questions or concerns on that? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0-0. Next, we'll move on to formal council action, and the first item on the agenda is consider approval of the 2023 operating budget, and Mrs. Rhonda Dunn, you have the floor.
You got it. Tonight, believe it or not, I'll be brief.
We'll take it.
You got it. Tonight, you have received advanced copies of the published budget. We've met numerous times over the last few weeks, addressing questions. I feel like we have accomplished the things that you asked us to in this budget. We were also in that process able to lower the mill levy below 36 and 23, which was a challenge from the target you even set in the published budget. I also want to take a minute to thank everybody, the council, obviously, and the city staff that have helped. It takes all of us to make a budget. I just am the one who stands here at the microphone. I also want to say a special thanks to Lou Ann Armstrong, the outgoing finance director. She was a huge help to me. I'll certainly miss her next year when she's not here helping with the budget. I would entertain any questions that you would have about the budget.
I don't have a question per se, but I just wanted to kind of get it out there in the open, what you and I had discussed. I did have a concern regarding some of the things that we had mentioned very briefly at the end of our budget work session, the CIP and the vehicle, or equipment. We don't really have a channel for those currently. I am still comfortable with this budget, given that you said it sounds like we have grossly underestimated our revenue, which is okay.
Oh, I
with me.
don't like the word grossly, but I'll go with you.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
That was intended to be a positive.
Okay, good.
So,
Good.
again, that was
Yes,
supposed to be
it
a
is.
positive comment.
It's conservative.
Yes, and that's what I like. So
Right.
again, given that it's conservative, I am comfortable with this budget. In the future, again, like you and I had talked, I would love to possibly have a specific channel for CIP and equipment, just because we've kind of extended ourselves already on some things, and I'm hoping the revenue will come in and take care of that gap.
I agree with you. And yes, we've made progress on the CIP and equipment since we have been together. And I think in my comment section, I'll be happy to address maybe a next step on CIP. And that's why I've been really clear. Projects and equipment and vehicles are not funded in this operating budget. They'll be funded by other sources of revenue outside of the levies. And as we can afford those things with those other sources, we will achieve those things.
And
Or make a different plan for them.
And some of those things aren't like, I don't want people to think CIP and equipment are like wish list items. They're things we need.
Yes.
They're needed items. So this is not, oh, if we have it, we'll do it. Well, we need to find it to make sure these things happen.
And sometimes it's the equipment on the equipment list that accomplishes the project on the project list.
Yep.
And that your project list covers everything from water and sewer to the parks, to streets, to sidewalks, to curbs. It's quite a mammoth, broad group of projects. And then the equipment, of course, it takes to accomplish those.
So this is kind of like that delicate balance of, yes, we want to lower taxes, but we also need to accomplish providing for our community the infrastructure and services that the city is supposed to provide. So it's
That's
obviously
absolutely right.
the delicate balance. So I just wanted to get that out in the open so everyone could hear what you and I had and Mr. Massey had chatted about.
Yes, we appreciate that feedback.
Any other questions or comments? I think I've asked all of mine in the last couple meetings.
I think so.
I feel good about the budget process we did, you know, the direction that we're headed. So I think we're doing the right things, and I think if we stay on this course, we're gonna be going down a good pathway for our community. So I'm happy and satisfied with the budget this year.
Anything? Anyone else?
I think we kicked this in.
If
Yeah.
not, I
Well done, John, well done.
yes,
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank
Really
Thank
do.
you
I've
to
been,
all the staff as well.
thank you. I'll pass that on.
All right, with that, I entertain a motion.
I move to adopt the 2023 budget at an amount of ad valorem tax of $7,325,248 for both fire and non-fire entities.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0-0.
I would remind you at the end of the meeting, the official state budget document has to be signed by all commissioners, so don't run away before we get a chance to get your autograph. Thanks.
Good. Next, we'll move on to consider the approval of a special event permit, Glow Run Spring Hill Recreation Commission. And Mrs. Garrity, you have the floor.
I'm gonna
Recuse yourself. I figured you probably would.
Yeah.
We'll holler at you when we're done. Maybe, maybe.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we have before you a special event permit that was submitted by the Spring Hill Rec Commission for a Glow Run 5K. The event is to happen on October 8th, 2022, from 6 to 8 p.m. The event does require a special event permit since it is held on city property. The Spring Hill Street Department, Police Department, Johnson County Fire District Number 2 have reviewed the documents and have no issues to report. No services are requested from the city. The Rec Commission will have their truck tailing the runners with a light and signs on the truck. The insurance requirements have been met. You can either approve, deny, or table the special event. The recommendation is to request the City Council approve the special event permit for the Glow Run 5K sponsored by the Spring Hill Rec Commission on Saturday, October 8th, 2022 from 6 to 8 p.m. with the run beginning at 7 p.m. Any questions?
I think everyone-
No? Good.
Where does that, do you know where that
It starts at Life Spring and then they do a loop.
Okay.
They go up Webster and then down through the village and then I think up Main and then back at Life Spring, so it's,
Oh, yeah, there's a map in here.
sure,
I did see that.
that's all right.
Awesome.
Yeah, looks good.
I think it's a great idea.
It'll be dark, nobody will see me.
You need a glow stick so we can find you all.
Yes.
this doesn't really have to do with approving it or not, but, is there signups available for it? Does it cost anything? What,
That would be through the rec commission. It's not a city event. This is just for your approval since it's happening on city property.
city property, yep.
Yeah, to make sure that, the proper insurance coverage is handled and they do meet those
So
requirements.
if anybody has questions about it, the event, just contact the rec commission.
Actually, there's an early bird special through September 23rd. There's a flyer in here and it's, registration. Looks like right now, you can register at springhillrec.org.
Perfect.
So yeah, they should contact their website if y'all wanna get out there running in the dark with glow sticks. And wear bright clothes, please.
Reflective.
Sounds like fun.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? I don't have any others.
Okay.
If not, I entertain a motion.
I move to approve the special event permit for the Glow Run 5K sponsored by the Spring Hill Rec Commission on Saturday, October 8th, 2022, from 6 to 8 p.m. with the run beginning at 7 p.m.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, and if someone could let Brian know that he can come back in, or Mr. Peel.
Cancel the run.
Hello.
Give him a second to get situated before we. All right, next we'll move on to the added on item of, consider approval of the city's employee assistant program EAP provider in substantial form and authorize the mayor to sign the final contract. I assume that is Mrs. Mona Keisha Jones, although it does not say.
So good evening, everybody. Yes, I am here. If you recall, back in May, we met when we were doing the renewal for the insurance for medical, dental, and vision. And part of that renewal process involved electing a separate EAP, Employee Assistance Program provider. And at that time, the council approved for us to go with Empathia at 3 visits per year, per instance for each employee. And what happened after that meeting is that there was an inability to come to a consensus on the contract agreement between the city attorney and Empathia's attorney. And after multiple kind of attempts to get that done, the process geared towards finding alternatives that would help us with EAP services. So there was an update given between now and then where I said I'm still working on it, trying to find someone. And so at this time, we have found a company, CuraLink, and their information was given to you guys for review, that they were able to come to an agreement on the contract, substantial form, I should say, because there are still a couple of things that need to be final reviewed by the city attorney. But there is no expectation that it's going to change, that the intent at this point, I believe, is for the city attorney to recommend that we move forward with that. And the reason it's being brought to you today is because CareerLink requires a 30-day window to implement the process. And so if we don't give them the okay, the verbal okay at least, to do that this month, we would have to wait till December 1st before an EAP will be effective for our employees. And so, again, we haven't had an EAP in place since July, so I, along with the CBIZ rep, have been diligently sourcing for other alternatives, and me particularly because I want to make sure that if an employee did come to me with any type of EAP related services, I had some sort of alternative route that I could get them going in. So the sooner the better that we can get an EAP in place, so that should something happen, we would have some sources for those employees to go to. With CuraLink, they offered a quote of, for three visits, $2,840 a year for that. 5 visits is $3,260, and 6 visits is $3,580. The options at this point is to provide approval of Caroline's contract in substantial form now, understanding that there are a couple of things that need to be finalized. And once that's finalized, authorize the mayor to sign that final contract. And, or obviously, we could wait till October 13th when the final contract should definitely be available, knowing that if we did that, then December 1st would be the earliest that we could get an EAP in place. Or if you have any questions, we could table it at a different time and come back and answer those, just knowing again that I need to give them an answer by the end of this month, September 30th, in order to have a November 1st effective date. Legal, like I said, is reviewing it. I don't have any concerns that they will not approve the way it is submitted. And then from a budgetary impact, irrespective of whichever tier you decide to go with, the cost of it will be charged to each department between the general fund, water and wastewater. So staff recommends at this time to approve it and elect the 3 visits per person per employee per year for $2,840. And I will answer any questions that you may have.
What was the cost of the previous one? What's the difference between the two in the overall cost?
$100.
Yeah, it is a bit of an increase. Empathia was offering us the 3-person visit level at $1,728. And so there is an increase there. But I will say that if you look through the information submitted by CuraLink, I definitely want to point out that it's not putting the city in a situation to where we feel like we are accepting just what we're being given. They are definitely someone that has the depth in terms of the EAP services and the breadth of knowledge where it comes from. And the fact that they're being flexible with telling us that we can start the process going to get the EAP in place as soon as possible, even without the formal signed contract in place, shows that they have that flexibility and willing to work with us as well. Anything else?
That's really the only question are.
What's the total budgetary impact of it?
The total would be, if we went with the 3 visits, it would be the $2,840.
But what's the total impact difference? Is it just for the whole program? It's only $1,100 more, or for the per employee?
No, the whole.
Oh, I thought it was per.
It's for the,
oh.
this covers everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
I thought we were
I was
talking per
thinking
employee. That's why I was like,
yeah.
how much is this going to cost?
No.
All right, that makes a big difference. Is the overall, is the staff okay with it? I mean, are the coverages similar enough that everybody's okay with it?
Well, full disclosure, I did not do any type of survey or anything of our employees, but they were obviously happy with previous EAPs that we've had, and I made sure that the services provided were at the same or at least higher level.
And that's really all I was
Yeah.
looking for, was to make sure that we're not missing anything on this new one that we might have had on the other one that's
No.
gonna
It looks pretty.
cause a problem for an employee or their family or anything.
Did we have many missed opportunities in the 4-month gap, like for any of our people that like wanted to use this and couldn't because it wasn't available? Or?
No,
Okay.
even the employees that I spoke to about certain things that were going on in their lives, I said, we don't have an EAP in place right now, but if you let me know you need someone, I will find someone. So it was just me being proactive, and I didn't have anybody say that.
I just want to make sure we didn't have like 20 instances of.
No, we've been very fortunate, but again, I just want to not test that.
For sure.
If it's a similar product and we're talking about only, again, I was with
$1,100,
you, I thought it was
yeah.
per person.
Yeah, I was like, holy cow.
That seems
Yeah, because times
relatively,
50, that would
Yeah.
have been a
Yeah.
decent number.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty palatable, so.
Okay.
Do you need a motion?
Do we need to formally vote on it?
Right, so you need to vote on approving the contract in substantial form and authorizing the mayor to sign the final contract.
Do you need
And
the
whatever-
specifics of the 3 visit?
You're right,
Okay.
yes.
And that was at 2840?
2040, yeah, that's what I got. All right, with that, I entertain a motion. You want to tackle that thing?
I move to approve the city's employee assistance program EAP provider in substantial form and authorize the mayor to sign the final contract for 3 visits at $2,840.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that ends formal council action. Next, we'll move on to a discussion item, and it's Veterans Park Memorial Update. And Mr. Messer, you have the floor.
I think I have pictures, maybe.
We like pictures.
I just want to give you a quick update of where we're at, because we had talked about trying to shorten it, so it, because of the bidding. I'd go to the, yes, that's where I want to go. We had talked about cutting off the one section where the flags were, and that's what they came up with, and possibly bidding that out with the jetties. So that's, Lane and I and Dan Miller and Virio met on site last week and discussed these options, but that's pretty much where we're at, and we do have a few ideas that we've been discussing and might be bringing up in the next couple of meetings, how we can even speed up some of the process. We're having a little bit of difficulty finding the riprap right now, and so the direction's kind of fluid right now. I've got a couple of options out there. We're trying to find some rock, but just wanted to let you know we're still working on it, and that's kind of what they came up with. Still going with the overall design in the long run, but at least getting a portion of it started.
Is there any type of option, I'm just throwing this out there, is there any type of options with state or federal funds or supplies or grant for like rock like that to, you know?
I don't know, but that was one of the places I was gonna contact, see if they had any. I had already tried down in Pleasanton to find some. Still working on that, cause I know they have 3 or 4 quarries down there. I was gonna look at that and gonna work with Pat, cause I think he knows every little cubby hole that has rock hidden. So,
Got it.
and then we may end up using a lot of the donation money to haul this rock in. It's not gonna be cheap, and we might have to figure out a way to get it placed, so. But I just wanna give you a small update on it, because it's something that's on everybody's mind.
Yep. Okay.
Keep grinding on it.
All right.
Yep, I know we're all eagerly anticipating getting started on that, so
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it. All right, with that, we'll end that, and we'll move on to announcements and reports. Mrs. Roth, you got anything?
Excited for Fall Festival. It's one of my favorite things that happens every year. I feel like somebody else says that all the time, so sorry if I stole it.
Still on my agenda.
But it's always fun. I have kids, so it's always fun to bring them down and watch the parade and then go to the park and just see everybody together. And it's a great witness of the community coming out and being together and having a good time. So that's all I got.
Mr. Van Houten?
I would second that, and I'll see everybody out there Saturday. Otherwise, no report.
Mr. Peel?
The Rotary Chamber Golf Tournament is tomorrow, so hopefully the weather holds out for that, but I know there'll be a lot of citizens participating in that, so looking forward to seeing people at that. And yeah, it's Fall Festival weekend, so
Yeah.
lots of stuff going on.
Mr. Young?
No report.
Mr. Massey?
No report.
Mr. Burton? Chief Henson?
Gonna break the streak.
Got a document.
Well, I wanted to kind of advise you of an event that we confirmed today. But to give you a little bit of backstory on it, for the last year or so, I've been partnering with pastors in our community, meeting on a fairly regular basis about building and strengthening our community. And they were a critical piece in our successful National Night Out, and we're going to do something similar on National Faith and Blue Weekend, which is October 7th through 10th. And what that is basically, it's based on the premise of, strong communities built on the mutual respect and understanding of law enforcement and faith institutions that are key pillars in our community. And when we work together, neighborhoods thrive. And so we're doing an event on the October 8th from 10 a.m. to noon. And it is an activity. It's coded as an athletic activity, but it's really really not athletic. It's a game that was created by Jay and Rhonda Sloan, and it uses a big rubber ball and a net. And it doesn't matter if you are small or, like a kid to an adult, to somebody in a wheelchair, to whatever, everybody can play it. And so we're gonna have some games, we're gonna have that game on that for those 2 hours, a little bit of food and a little bit of community. And we're gonna host it over at the pickleball courts, there off of South Street. So if you're available that night, or that morning, I should say, from 10 to noon, we'd be happy to see everybody. So,
Awesome.
cool. We'll be pushing out advertisements coming up, but just wanted to share that with you since we won't see you until after that event.
Sounds like fun.
Did you say that was National Faith and Blue Week?
Yeah, it's National Faith and Blue Weekend. It's actually its third year for this event to occur. It actually started, I think, out of Washington, and it basically started as a result of all the unrest that was happening during 2020. And quite frankly, it's much larger than I even knew until we learned a little bit about it. We're one of 3 Johnson County agencies that are going to be participating in it this year.
Nice.
So
Cool.
Awesome. Mr. Lowe?
No report from me. Good to see y'all.
All right, you too. Mrs. Garrity?
No report, thank you.
Mrs. Dunn, any further words?
Just a little. On the CIP, I kind of need some direction, and Lane and I haven't had a real big opportunity. We've talked a lot about CIP. We just haven't talked about the interface with the council. We have met a lot of Thursdays in a row, and so I was hoping to take a break and not see you next Thursday evening. But we also have the zoning, the CIP has to go through zoning and planning, but I'd like to see another review with you folks before we send it to zoning and planning. So I think the way I'll phrase this is expect to see something from Lane or I about another type of work session. Maybe we'll do it before the next meeting or something like that. I'm not in a rush, but I don't want to drag around on the CIP because I think there's some really, really important things there that we need to work through. So look for some update from us and maybe a request on a work session of some kind on CIP.
Sounds good. Mrs. Jones?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Messer?
Nothing.
All right, anything else? Anybody else? With that, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Got a motion, we got a second?
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.